You are listening to Let's Go, the weekly anime podcast about weekly anime from Dynamite in the Brain and Secret of the Sailor Madness. So come along and hang with the Let's Go gang. It's Dwayne. It's
Hello.
Niall. And
Oh
it's
yeah.
me, Brian. And on this episode, we are covering anime that aired the week of the 16th of November to the 22nd of November, 2020. And this time I made sure to be excited about Niall as well, because I was just listening back to the last episode I was on, and it sounded like I was super excited that Dwayne was here. And then in order to give myself a different inflection of voice, it sounded like I wasn't excited, Niall was.
I know. So
So I had to
sorry.
give myself a
I'm out of here.
I had to give myself some space so I could get even more excited about Niall than I was about Dwayne on the introduction there.
You mistimed your energy. It wasn't that weren't excited about now. It's just you ran out of energy very quickly.
Well,
Gotta
I'm
pace
sad to
yourself.
see both of you.
Right, I'm hopefully be able to get through this without coughing too much. Apparently I did on Sunday, so we'll see how we do today. Right, we're starting off with Mr. Osomatsu seasons. I was about to say season 6. No, season 3, episode 6. Tidbits Collection 3. Salon Stand Up. Docking. The Night Path. The Master of Wit Chibikyu.
Wait, did I watch the wrong episode?
Matsuzu's Job. Maybe, or maybe I watched the wrong episode. Did I watch the wrong episode?
I think you watched a one that would have come out in
This
this week
week.
of the recording, the week of the 23rd of November to whatever.
Okay, in which case, guys,
yeah.
tell me what happened in the episode I should be talking about.
Sorry.
Dwayne, you tell him what happened because I jumped off of watching this because I wasn't really.
Oh god,
digging
what
it.
happened in the first thing? I can't even remember.
I saw the robots in the thumbnail and I thought this is going to be a good one this week. I'm going to try again next time.
The first part of the episode was Tutor. I don't know how to say that word. I forgotten what it is. It was a short bit at the start before the credits, so I forgotten what happened. Second part, optimization. The robots are trying to get in good with Ishimatsu, but all he wants to do is wander around town all day with all the free time he has as a NEET and try and find cats to interact with. And they optimize his time by finding like the best times that cats appear and where they appear. And it does a good job of doing the whole thing of he initially he's like, oh brilliant, you're bringing me the cats, I love these robots are great. But then it's kind of like it's just a chore, it's just getting to the next cat, even though this cat is still here willing to play with him and stuff. It's like, and it takes out the fun of making the excitement of discovering them by just making it a fucking grind. And even though they're optimizing his fun time, it's just like part of the fun is maybe I'll get to see a cat today, maybe I fucking won't. And it does that without saying anything, but there's no fucking jokes, so it's not very good.
Yeah, well,
And
but
then-
that's where we kind of landed last week. Where
Yeah,
they
it's
want
the
to do
same-
this direction with it.
This is definitely the direction they want to go for sure. Yeah. And then the last one was massage, which was Jushimatsu giving Osomatsu a massage, and he's like, "No, go harder." Ah, my fucking back! And he's like, "Whoa, should I stop?" He's like, "No, harder, harder," until the point where he kills him, and then he's fine. And then he says, "Like, give me another massage," and it's like, no, I'm not going to go any harder because you had me really fucking scared there. And Osomatsu's like, "No, no, that's cool. You can go as hard as you like. I'm good. I'm good. I was only messing with you." And then he thinks he kills him again, and he tries to hide the body from one of the other brothers. And then it's like, oh no, he was okay, and he kicks him through a wall and actually kills him. That's the episode. I think I've covered all the bases. Brian, what happened in your one? Because I feel like we're not going to be continuing with this.
Oh, well, I will say episode 7 is very good. It's just a load of sketches.
I can see.
So
Yeah, if the shorts do a better job.
I will say before you check out next week's episode. But then then it sounds like you might want to check out after that.
Right, right.
Because I was like, oh, this is more than what I wanted. But I'll talk about that next week. There we go. It's about to happen one day. That I'm sure it's happened before that I watched the wrong episode.
I've watched the wrong thing as well. Don't worry about it.
It's like seeing into the future.
Yes, I'm now seeing that I do have Mr. Osomatsu on my Crunchyroll queue. It is just refusing to move it up to the top.
It's been weird with the fucking queue lately. Like that fucking that high school girl climbing thing showed up my thing, and I was like, "The fuck, get this thing out of here! I'm not watching episode 2. Get out of here!" And the Osomatsu wasn't showing up. Freaking, I had to go looking for Gal and Dino. It was just like, this is nowhere in my history. I know it was a while back, lads.
Well,
but
that's
it's
on
not that fucking
Funimation.
far back.
That's not on Crunchyroll. That's why.
Oh, I must be thinking of the wrong fucking search thing. Yeah. I
But
know I was
you're
having
right.
trouble finding shit anyway, basically.
Yeah, you're right though. It does seem like it seems to be conflating the history tab with your Q tab.
Yeah.
It switches around the order of them because this is the last thing you watch, or puts that up on top, and then now I don't know where I am
Yeah.
in my position.
Or is it putting like the latest thing out on the top, even though like I was on episode 2 of a thing I do not intend on continuing watching.
It basically puts it in date accessed or date added order, depending on which one you click, and then it's got ascending,
Right.
descending. But I just changed
Hmm.
it to ascending and then back to descending, and now it's put Mr. Osomatsu at the top.
Okay.
So clearly there's something up with the caching and the cookies not refreshing.
Ghosts. Welcome
Ye-
to yokai.
Or I'm confusing it by using VPNs to watch Lupin the Third episodes.
Could be that. Could be that.
That could also be the issue. Could entirely be my fault. Okay, on to something that I definitely did watch the right episode of, even though I kept on getting distracted and I suddenly discovered I was on the next week's episode. But no, Golden Kamuy episode 31, Meko Oyasi, in which the first half is with Sugimoto's group. And they run into a bit of trouble in the snow because... what's the dog's name?
Ryu.
Ryu.
Yes, the one who's
The hunting
jealous of
dog.
the tobogganing
I love
dog's
he's got
hat.
this little
Sled
arc.
dog.
It's a great little arc he's got. I want that sweet hat.
He's also pulling a sled, and he goes off in a direction and pulls Sugimoto, Tanigaki, and what's the kid's name?
Boner?
Boner. Yes.
Jikapati is his proper name. Well,
It's
even
easier
though
to
that
remember
means
Boner.
though, so it's
Yeah.
Way off course, and they end up on the coast, and they think they're going to die, so they have to smash the sled, start a fire, and then Tanigaki's knowledge of wilderness survival kicks in and keeps them alive long enough for the other lads to find a house, which turns out to be a lighthouse, owned by a kindly Russian couple who like the lighthouse, and the other lads manage to pull themselves out from the dog blanket, which is a literal blanket of dogs they've made for themselves inside a hole, and find the warmth above the oven. I do love when they get in and they're just eating those biscuits very daintily in cups of tea.
I was like, oh, these are
Oh, how
fabulous
does
with
it
tea.
lovely.
They're having a grand old fucking time, and the lads just coming in from a near-death experience. I was worried they left the dogs behind them, but I was like, yeah, the dogs probably went with them.
Yeah,
To be
and they
fair.
were like, oh, they were worried about the dogs, and Tanigaki was like, no, the dogs will be fine. They're built to survive in these
It's us that'll
conditions.
die first.
Yes.
The other bit when they fire up the lighthouse and Kurito's blowing on the glass and writing his name on it. It's
Right, it's like Suru. It's like, oh, one day I can call him that.
then they get on well with the couple, and they discuss, are you all alone? And they explain that they've got a daughter, but she ran off with a deserter from the Japanese army, and they've not seen her since. And then
This place was going to be decommissioned because it was obviously a Russian lighthouse, but now it's in Japanese territory, so the Russians were going to tear it down so the Japanese couldn't use it. But the Japanese were like, no, we're going to hang on to this. And they stayed there in case their daughter ever comes back. rather
yeah,
than
they
moving
they
back to
ref-
Russia.
they refuse to blow up the lighthouse with the munitions that the government had given them, just to spite the Russian government as well.
Yeah.
They
Because
mentioned.
they kind of got fucked over by the war in a different regard. They lost their daughter in a different way to the way people lost their kids, I guess. But yeah.
Yes. What's the daughter's name?
Svetlana.
Svetlana.
Yes.
Yes. I believe we have to remember that.
Well, it comes up at the post credits, so we know it's
Yeah.
in the line.
And they take a photo so they can look for her as well. And in return, Sugimoto says, "I'll leave this photo of this."
If you
this
see
girl.
this little girl, show her this photo of me and tell her that Sugimoto's still alive.
And,
Also gets a photo of himself.
Yes.
This is the best one I have.
Well, I mean, like they're starting to use up a lot of their photos that they did take, and you're gonna get some duds.
This is true. Like,
Is it like a creeper face kind of thing? Yeah.
He's doing like the Rambo, but he has the machine gun photoshopped out. He's just doing like.
Yeah, I did see discussion in the comments on the Crunchyroll video of whether this is symptoms of his brain damage from being shot through the head by Ogata.
Wasn't the photos before they got shot in the head?
I know, but it's the handing them out is the thing, is the issue.
Okay.
Of like picking the wrong
Well,
photos out and giving them to people and all these things.
Yeah, well, he was already, having some mental issues there before all that. I mean, also again, we see his dead boy Taraji, haunting him in his before he freezes to death.
I actually really liked that scene. It was a good reminder of, because obviously that's the thing with the opening, and Sugimoto and his little sister are separated, and that's kind of going to be a theme, and it's him kind of remembering that Asurpa kind of pulled him out of it. Like he could have been as mentally unstable as some of the more dangerous members of the fucking various squads, but like that's some kind of innocence to strive to kind of protect, and that's kind of keeping him sane.
Yeah, like he's kind of shown like he's killed people to survive, or there's something in him there where he's like maybe there's some part of him that kind of enjoys it or gets sucked up in it. But she said, no, this is like you can also survive this way and just live off the land this way.
Instead of surviving just by killing and becoming like a beast or a monster or whatever, you're surviving because of someone else. You're surviving for someone else. And like it was a nice reminder of that, like him dying in the fucking snow. It was just like Asurpa kind of calling his name in his mind.
Yeah, it's coming down the road, I think, just based on how they met, where it was fending off a bear that it went crazy because it went out of hibernation. And now we've seen Sugimoto from his brain damage go on one killer crazy rampage.
Yeah.
It's going to be like an old Jenner situation where Asurpa's going to put him down.
You can't put him down, though. He's immortal.
Brian is saying nothing because he's read further in the comic.
Now I was a little confused about who Svetlana was based on reading further in the comic, and then I was like, "Oh no, hang on, that's a different Russian woman we've got to deal with later." And then we cut to them further down the trail in another village. I assume in the comic there was probably some stuff they've cut out here. As quite often that seems to be the stuff they cut out of them walking from A to B looking at wildlife. But we get a little bit of wildlife as the girls trying to scare Boda with this story, and meanwhile the lads are sitting around the fire discussing how much they hate Ogata, which I did enjoy after the previous episode, and then enjoy even further when the same folktale comes up again. The other group are having a serious talk about a woman called Sophia. This woman who Wilk and Kuraranki looked up to.
Yeah, she was their leader.
Yes.
Showed them the terrorist ropes or the freedom fighter ropes, whichever way you want to look at it.
But she was also the one. She was a master of criminal and con artist who did heist to bankroll their activities as well. A real person too. Sofia Ivanova Bluestein. Yeah.
Okay.
She's kind of like a Robin Hood character. She robbed rich and gave to the poor and never killed anybody, supposedly.
As they're discussing this, does it go from the narrator to Kuraranki? I think it does. Yeah, of the prison that she's being held in. Yes, where we see that she's not quite who Kuraranki still has in his head, but she's probably even tougher than she was then. And I love how after all this is going down, meanwhile just off screen, Ogata's having a stare down with a cat.
It wasn't until they started like talking about the was it a wildcat or mountain cat?
Yes,
the word they used?
mountain cat.
Mountain cat, Yamaneko.
Like it's a pun for like a mountain cat is a mountain cat, which is like it's pun based off of a prostitute or something. So
geisha.
Yeah, that was it. So he's the son of a geisha, so he's also, scum. And also it means someone who's conniving or a liar kind of thing, which is Ogata. And I was like, it wasn't until this episode, and they literally have him looking at a cat and making all these comparisons. I was like, he looks like a fucking cat.
Yes.
That never fucking occurred to me. He stares at things and he doesn't fucking blink, and it's always like, doesn't turn the eyes much, stares straight ahead, which is Sniper, but also cat.
Yeah, and his facial scars look like whiskers as well.
Yeah.
But mannerisms and look, yeah.
There's much made there as well of when these big cats, kind of like a lynx or a bobcat or kind of noise, a bit bigger than that even. Or it's when they kind of they seem to devour or take away when they attack people, anything at all. So Ogata seems to be the kind of guy. Yep, he's a predator. He's ruthless and vicious, and he's the most likely person in this group to turn on him.
To kill everyone and remove any evidence of them ever being there.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's, kind of getting that sense of him now. I hope we can get to this prison so I can shoot all these people and go and find the gold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I did like, as well as like the character bit of just like the slight comedy of him not being involved in that incredibly important conversation that's going on, and instead just staring at a cat,
looking at a cat. Yeah. He's just here for the killing. He's not here for the plot.
Well, yeah, and I guess the cat was also staring him up as to. It was like the pair of them trying to figure out which one of them could kill each other the first.
Mm-hmm.
Next week's episode's Manslayer. But is it?
Well, that could be anybody.
Yes, it could be that cat, or it could be an actual real person.
Well, actually, Brian, you were saying you were lamenting that you didn't get to talk about last week's one. Anything you want to cover quickly?
I really enjoyed it. I love the way it made you sympathetic for Ogata, and yet also he's terrified of him because of his like inability to. The way he's convinced himself that everybody thinks the same way he does, and therefore to not have that shattered, he shoots his brother in the head.
Yeah, it just does not compute. He can't process empathy when he comes across it. He thinks, no,
or he's trying to force himself to be.
It's gotta be a lie.
Yeah, I feel like it's a degree of forcing himself to think, because otherwise he couldn't do what he's doing if he thinks that other people don't think the way he does.
If other people are capable of empathy, then I'm a monster, and that can't be the case. Everyone has to be a monster.
Yeah. It's like he's not haunted by any of the men he killed on the battlefield, but it was just the one person who was actually genuinely nice to him. I was concerned about him that he didn't kill. That's the thing that's following him around.
Because if that person was right, then he's acting and thinking like a fucking monster, and that can't be the fucking way of it. Like, again, you like you said, Brian, you feel sympathy, empathy for him, but you pity him, but you're still like, he's fucking terrifying, and we need to put a stop to him.
But you, at the same time, it's also the same. It's the brother is also been messed up by the dad as well.
Yeah,
in thinking.
Yeah, but the brother's trying to do better by it. Yeah, by caring about this guy who shouldn't mean anything to him.
But he's still doing it out of wrong reasons of like trusting his dad and trusting the emperor. Of like this is I need to be this ideal for everybody else because my dad and
it is very naive.
Yes, my dad and my emperor tell me to. But yeah, I thought it was an absolute cracking episode last week.
Oh, it was excellent. Yeah.
This was good, but it was like but it was like 3 sets of vignettes.
It's a bridging episode.
Yeah, I mean, like, the individual parts were great, and lots of characters got various bits to do, so no complaints.
And it introduces Sophia as well, which is a super important character going forward.
Yeah, we're just sharing a cell with Svetlana. So maybe Sugimoto don't feel like, oh, I probably shouldn't be making this promise to this like kind of old couple here because you may not find her daughter, but it doesn't hurt her to ask around. Maybe we will be able to make good on that promise.
Yes, yeah, and it also tells us that Sophie is trying to get out the prison because the explanation of what happens to when you try and get out is you get whipped.
The first time you're whipped, and the second time they like tie you to like a wheelbarrow or something. So I'm guessing it's like a permanent fucking shackle or something.
Yeah. So we know she's attempted to get out once because the first time we see her is her being whipped and then complaining that they're not doing it hard enough to her.
Is that all you got?
Get Jushimatsu in there. Let's figure it
out. Next up, Jujutsu Kaisen, episode 8, Boredom, in which the folks from Kyoto are down at the Tokyo Sorcerer College causing trouble. Well, yeah, 2 of them are causing trouble. Another one's getting a photo with her hero, and And also very old. The principal's
He's causing
there.
trouble for the principal of
Yes,
the
he
other
is, yeah.
place because he's just like, I gave him the wrong fucking thing because I threatened that guy. Poor bastard.
He's why I get a bit of them to let him know. Oh, by the way, all you old fuckers who are turning a blind eye and so complacent, try all fun think. I've fought like special grade curses that aren't even on file yet, and also had that incident from before, which I don't think they've really gone over much in the comic either. But they get on the night parade of 1,000 demons, a very high profile incident. You guys think you're holding back this dam, but it's going to fucking burst and it's going to flow up on top of us.
They're getting so caught up in like inter fucking politics and like being higher ups and shit that they're not actually solving the problem that is developing very badly.
And Sukuna's vessel, like appearing into our world, is just a cherry on top. So I'm going to tear it all down and stop it if you want. Also, the principal won't be here for another 2 hours, so enjoy your wait. Bye. This will be a dick because he goes out the door.
And the two kids from the college. One's the sister of.
That's Maizen.
Yeah.
And then Aoi Todo.
That's him. Yes. Who loves the ladies. He wants to know what sort of ladies does Megumi like.
It's fine if it's dudes as well. I need to know your type so I can identify if you're boring. And if you're boring, I'm going to kick the shit out of you. I'll beat you half to death, I think is the way he puts it. But and he says a very nice thing. Is like, I don't care what they look like as long as they are of strong will and a good person and shit. And he's like, that's a boring answer.
Oh, more importantly,
his answer is what? Long
like,
legs, big butts. I think
that's his type. Response. More importantly, he starts crying and then he says, "So you think it has deeply affected him, but it has in a way you weren't expecting."
He's upset that he's boring.
Yes.
And drawn to tears because of it. It's like, God damn it! I thought you'd be into like tits or something. Come on, dude.
Actually, yeah, that's a sensible answer. You know,
it is a good answer, but it's not the very fucking surface level answer that he wanted.
So I'm gonna get to know you with my fists. Bow. Punching him out.
I feel like he clotheslines him across the fucking like out of the place where they start with the vending machines.
Yeah.
And then again, they are allowed to explode that fucking battle at some distance, which is nice. I was disappointed that your one didn't get much of a fight because I was like, I always tend to pick the fucking favorite characters of the one who you will see the least fighting of. I don't know why. It's bad luck for me or something.
Kugisaya didn't have her hammer and nails on her, and
she did.
Also, the other elements of Amai pulled the fucking revolver on her. I think she can give her a little bit of a break this time.
Yeah.
She get her own back. But Maki turns up there to bail her out and decide who's the prettiest twin. Split it out. One's got a better personality.
Well, you got the sister rivalry thing where it's like, you're just a piece of crap, sister, and just like, actually we're both piece of crap. Fuck you. Which I was like, that's a good comeback.
Yeah, it was like, well, Maki is more so. I can't even use cursor and I can use the tools, but even with that, I'm like the best secondary they've had in generations. What did that say about you, who can put like curse energy into bullets and fire them like that? I mean, I can't do that, but I'm still can kick your ass. So even without energy, I'm still better than all of you.
It's a fun rivalry, and I like how everyone's just a complete mad bastard. That's the thing I consistently like about this show, though.
Yeah, and Todo changes his mind on Fushiguro towards the end of the fight when Fushiguro is about to do something to him that isn't boring, and then Panda and the fella get in the way and stop them fighting. But yeah, Todo's no longer bored, but he also wants your fella from the prequel comic and the third years to show up. Yes, which apparently is coming out early next year from Viz. That prequel.
Yeah, and your man saying to Toto was kind of like, "Hey, I've heard you don't use any curse gen today." He's like, "No, I use it against special grades. Other than that, I don't use curse technique. I use it only against special grades." And I was like, "You motherfucker, you're not even fucking pushing a sweat here."
Well,
he's just I'm just gonna beat the shit out of you with my fists, and that's all I need.
Well, it mentions during Ghetto's last Jujutsu terrorist attack that
he took on one special grade and like 2 or 3 grade 1s or something.
He did it with his bare hands as well, and he was again like as like a year or two ago, so he was less advanced.
Yeah.
And we also learn that the fourth years don't take part in the event. That this is a 4-year school. I don't think we've ever seen a fourth year in the comic either yet.
No.
So that's something he's got in his back pocket.
The $7, yeah.
And then after the credits, we get because Todo has to leave, that he's got some important business to attend to in Tokyo, and he can't.
I love the when he punched your man way out of it. They're fighting on a roof. He's like, "Where's my jacket?"
Because it's
he's gonna look around and was like, "Dude, you took that off at the start, like way back there."
They flexed out of his shirt.
Yeah, and I'm guessing he needed the jacket because that's where the tickets were.
Yes, the meet and greet tickets that he's dragging Mai to.
He was lamenting. It was just like, I didn't get the fucking local ones. I had to fucking get the Tokyo ones. But I mean, like, we gotta get there. We gotta get on the train. The fucking time is money
Yes,
here.
to go and see the tall idol.
I presume she's tall and has a big butt.
Yeah, we
so
see her in the post. Did you not watch after the credits?
I did watch after the credits.
Yeah, we see her there.
I don't look at people's butts.
After it's been mentioned, I think you have to. So it's like,
It's okay if you're into that. You
yeah.
know, just be respectful.
It's fine.
but yes, it turns out that the idol is much more into Mai than she would be into Todo. Which is the punchline of Mai's being.
I thought that was a good one where he gives her the ticket. It's like, no, you should go to her. She's lovely.
I'll give it a go, sure. Well, whatever. I'm here anyway. And the man, that kind of cool tradition is like, what's up? It's like, oh, lovely to meet you. And it's like, yeah, thanks.
It's nice to see another girl at one of these. It's like, oh, you should come to the next one. I'll remember you. And they just enter her ear. And it's just like, that was actually really nice. She turns from, it's like, this is a creepy thing that creepy guys do. Because initially she was looking down on all the dudes in the queue. And they're going like, oh my God, this is so hot. She's looking down on us. just a bunch of weirdos. But then she gets into it. So I guess she's a convert now.
All hilarious stuff. Meanwhile, in our town, a little while away, by the disfigured corpses of 3 teenagers turn up in the cinema. What could have done this?
Yep. Yeah, this is where I felt like this next arc is where I felt like the comic got going properly.
Yeah. You see, going out the back door of the cinema. There's Mahito, one of the special grade intelligent courses we saw last time. There's a young lad there saying, "Hey, mister, did you do that inside there?" He's like, ho, you can see me, can you? Ooh. I can be your imaginary friend, maybe. But
yep, and we have actually we've seen the guy with the small little spectacles.
Yes, this is a case for Kento Nanami and his young sidekick Yuji Itadori. We're gonna get to the bottom of this.
They roll
within working hours, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, I love Kento Nanami as a character. He's so great.
I think what you're saying, like, it really kind of gears up at this stage. I think a lot of the stuff it's been doing up to now has been establishing, weirdly enough, but it's all been very entertaining establishing, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah. We should say
you
the animation is amazing in this episode as well.
This episode is not boring despite the name. It's fucking class. Yeah.
Yeah, it just seems to have a consistent, really good set piece, and it isn't just like it's actually above par for a lot of other things that could be running alongside it. There's always like one like big set piece. Even anything either side of it is usually fairly well executed as well. Even the funny sections.
Yeah.
They're kind of like giving the same care and attention to every aspect of it, not just dudes punching each other. And
they do like drawing out the jokes, like the principal's assistant, I guess, giving out to your man, but really just wanting to talk to him because she's like a super fan. She's like, hey, principal, you want some tea since we're waiting? Or he asked for tea since they're waiting. And he's like, I'm going to go get a selfie with your man. And then she kind of comes back. I like that joke where she comes back and she's just standing there all proper and prim. And he's like, my tea? It's like, oh, fuck.
But he's a dick anyway.
Yeah.
He is, but I do like the fact that it's just like, didn't you go to get tea? Where's the tea at? I mean, like, she could have went kettle's boiling or something. I don't fucking know. Some excuse. But they even like do separate the jokes out. They put a lot of effort into. They definitely have that one cool action set piece, but they do put the effort in to the jokes and to everything else as well.
Oh, and the atmosphere they build as well.
Yes.
That's the kind of the dread of these horrible curses going around, morphing dudes' heads into fairly disturbing shapes. And this is where it kicks off as well with the kind of the horror of it, because you now have somebody who can just kind of morph people's body parts into like things that they should not be. So it gets super grosser.
Moving on to much less gross things. It's With a Dog and a Cat. Every Day is Fun. Episode 8. The first half is all about sitting on your pets.
A common fear, as all pet owners have.
The dog just takes it as being played with.
Well, when she
Rubs
sits
it
him,
better,
she
yeah.
pets him to make up for it, and it's like, oh my god, I'm getting pets. This is great. Forgotten entirely, forgiven
Please
entirely.
sit on me, mistress.
Whereas the cat, she sits on the non-fleshy part of the tail, and he takes great umbrage immediately. Because
And never forgives.
yes, it is true. You did not hurt me, but you ruined my mood.
No.
And the second half is the dog running. What she has to do to get the dog come
Running off
back
the
when it
lead,
runs off the lead. She has to do a silly dance.
Because if she chases it, he'll run because it's being excited. If she shouts at it, it'll run because it's scared. So if it does a dance, it'll run over to her to dance with her, and all the neighbors talk. And it's like, doesn't matter. I don't mind the embarrassment. Which is good. I'd like that take. And the cat looking to jump out the window, and it's like, if I run to grab him, he'll jump. If I give out to him, he'll jump. I'll claim I'm about to eat some tuna. Which he's kind of thinking, it's like, was this his plan all along to get tuna? Have I been outplayed? Good stuff.
Been living with your cat too long when you start getting those kind of thoughts.
Is he in my head right now? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. We've covered it. As we always say, quicker to actually watch it than listen to us explain it. Then we've got Dragon Quest Episode 8, Furfang Full Assault.
Doesn't waste time. We get full on fucking wild animal invasion in his kingdom, and they fucking level the place to the ground.
I was kind of hoping for more dealing with the huge amount of invading animal army rather than the kind of not one-on-one fight, like Crocodile and whoever the hell else is in the room fighting. But that's his plan. I'm going to kidnap the king, not because he cares about the king, but because that'll get Dai's attention.
Yeah, and I do like how there's like a little bit in his dialogue and more in the delivery of him, like, I don't really want to do this honourable thing, but I've got to because I can't beat him fighting him honourably. So
it's like, I really want to beat you fair and square, but I know I can't. So okay.
Yeah, he's like yelling to the heavens, "I will discard my pride." Yep, but totally discarded my pride. Definitely no. Discarded my pride. Oh.
And even later, Mom picks up on that, and she's kind of like, "Oh, you call yourself a warrior?" And then all the guards are all like, "Yeah, you suck," to try and help out. Just really fucking make him play by the rules, so maybe they have a chance of winning.
We have more heroes available. In fact, there are some staying in this inn that we're going to stay at tonight as well. They're just down the hallway. Oh, I meet some other heroes.
I thought I was being very rude there, but I guess these guys are technically ruder, so it's okay.
They weren't even sleeping. They're playing poker all night.
It's the middle of the night, though. They let them have their free time.
I love how terrified they are. This is the heroes from the first arc. I love how terrified they are of Dai when he comes through the door. They're like, no, we're really heroes now. We're not villains anymore.
They describe their actions, which are basically exactly the same thing, but less duplicitous, I guess.
We just go around grinding. That's all we do. We
fight the small monsters. For money. We teach magic to the guards. I just like, weren't you doing that before? It's like, yeah, but we were pretending we were big shots then. Now we're just doing it and still getting paid. So, yeah, we're doing the same thing as before.
But yeah, the other big plot points are Pop's cowardice and the fact that Crocodile's secret weapon that he's been given by Zabira is
the Mystic Bishop.
Brass. Because he's away from the island, he's influenced by the Dark Lord, and he's evil now.
Which is like, it's not he's a badass lump mage, I think is the class.
Yes.
But he's good at that. But he's also like, obviously, Dai doesn't want to kill his grandpa, even for the XP. It's kind of like, he did raise me,
Yeah,
though.
I do like how he calls himself Grandpa, but the narrator's like, this is essentially Dai's father.
Yeah, but he was old when he started
That's
raising
true.
him, so that's a grandpa. Yeah.
What's the main bad guy who's because we get him chilling in the Nazi, we get him chilling in his bathtub, learning that Zabuira and Crocodile are in cahoots.
I would have been annoyed if that tentacle fucking thing came up to me and was like, sire, I have news. And I'm like, dude, I'm in the bath.
But yeah, I like the idea of like the monsters have got like their own politics going on between them, that they don't trust each other fully either.
Yeah.
It's nearly like they're subdivided into divisions so that no one of them gets too powerful. It's like, well, if they're working together, they'll probably be fine. That kind of thing. He's thinking, it's like, this is probably okay in this case.
Yeah, but it's the thing I like in tokusatsu shows is I want a degree of monster soap opera going on with the villains.
You're like jostling for influence. You want to be the favorite of the big boss or overthrow the big boss, or it's all the kind of petty stuff that goes by, little petty evil that goes alongside with giant monster destruction.
And then we end with him doing a big old blast.
Beam cannon.
Yeah.
Because he's initially scared because like, oh shit, Dai can use magic and a sword now. I'm fucked. And he says he can't do magic, but I feel like if you can make your arm grow to 3 times its normal size and punch so hard you shoot a Kamehameha, I was like, that kind of seems like magic, bro.
That's just flexing, You really hold it up there. Like, you can breathe fire as well. You didn't count that. So it's just
he's
like
a dragon,
natural ability.
so maybe that's I guess he's fine. But so I think that's the thing that Pop sees from a fucking distance. Obviously, the huge beam shooting out of the castle. It's like, oh no, they seem like they're in a bunch of trouble. So,
do you get like massive Usopp vibes from Pop?
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, is this an influence on Usopp?
I think it could be. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I think it's sort of like he's not that bad at magic unless he has no follow through. Because he can do a good fireball spell that will take out a monster. It's just he thinks, oh yeah, that'll do it. But it's always that thing where it looked pretty good, but it still has like 2 HP left. So you gotta like do it again. It's very annoying when it happens in the video game, but you gotta cast it twice to finish it off. Come on.
I was kind of thinking that's probably going to be his thing because based on the preview of the next one, like he seems to be in the fight. He's using his staff. I think his staff gets like shattered or something like that. So it's like, okay, it's not, you got magic, that's cool, but you got to learn some other shit as well. Maybe something like that.
Well, he might get some inspiration because you saw Dai was learning how to do the fireball, but he couldn't get it to go all the way. But Dai just like played up and just kicked it away to get more distance off it. So he might use some ingenuity to make up for.
Yeah, and Mom can't cast offensive magic, but she did use the ice spell to freeze your man's arm to prevent him from attacking. It's not about just throwing ice at him; it's about where you throw it, that kind of thing. Technically using it well, I guess. Yeah, like you say.
Well, it's fun to watch, and it's I think this definitely is the most consistent thing. I think even the Jujutsu Kaisen is pretty consistent as well.
Yeah.
I think people say this is like 2 seasons ahead in its production schedule.
Wow,
so the
really?
stuff we're watching is from like half a year ago.
Yeah.
I guess the only thing it's not as consistent with is it's limited in its CG budget. Like this time around, they wanted that for the whole invading army because that would be too fucking expensive otherwise. No, but they've used it for like the one-on-one fights in some of the prior episodes.
No, I don't mind as much like with the usually for a big cross-animal army that I don't want it. And there's kind of coming in here. There's kind of designs are kind of round, colorful, bouncy, and cartoony. They actually fit.
No, they're like that old kind of cell shaded look. They look great in it. Yeah.
And they interspersed with cool shit like Crocodile was getting carried in by a giant eagle. That's him making an entrance. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Talking of CG reptiles, Gallon Dino episode 8. It eats more than just ramen and time for a birthday party.
Hey, they're back. Life finds a way.
Yeah, I was very happy to see this back just because of its overall mood. It has its own definitely its own mood as soon as that opening theme hits. But yeah, the first half is not the first half, but the first quarter, I guess. The first story is the other woman who works in the convenience store.
Yeah, I can't remember her name now. Shit.
Is trying to
Senpai.
is trying to work up. Yeah, they don't seem to be able to remember her name either, do they?
But specifically, her parents have went, "Oh, that lovely girl! You must invite her over for dinner again." And the dad's like, "Yeah, she's really cool." And she's like, "Okay, I gotta invite her over now." And it's like, it's kind of social. I know her better, but I don't know her that well.
Yeah.
How do you bring it up?
So yeah, she's running it over and over in her head. Then eventually she practices it in the bathroom, comes out, invites her, and then hasn't realised that she's accidentally invited a whole load of people because all the other regular characters are there as well. The ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, she just kind of bursts out of the bathroom. Was like, "You want to come over for dinner?" And it's it's herself, her ex-current boyfriend. I'm not entirely sure. They're complicated.
Her best friend
and a dinosaur.
And the dinosaur, yeah.
And they're all like, "Yeah, we'll come to
Sure,
dinner."
dude.
Like,
Thanks.
shit.
Wow.
I gotta ring my mom. How many people can we set a table for?
We got myself. Got my my colleague here, two of her friends, and one dinosaur. You'll see when we get there. Okay, let's set the table. Thanks.
And we get a CG short where the dino's got hiccups, and it counts how many hiccups it's got on the screen.
This can seriously not be happening right now. Have you ever gotten a fucking mad thing of hiccups and you can't get rid of them? I hate that.
It's been a while.
It's worse than a yawn that doesn't come out.
I always find drinking a cup of water backwards does it for me.
I've tried it, but sometimes then I end up fucking choking on it and hiccups, and that's worse. Like, Sprite doesn't work in this, which I do like as a joke.
And then a cat comes in and scares Dino because cats attack him, and then that fright causes the cat to get hiccups, and then it resets the count for both of them, and then we cut to the middle of the night where they're both lying in bed hiccuping.
And what was it like? It was getting into the high 50s, and he's just kind of hunched over on the floor of this.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not really much you can fucking do. Yeah. It's a good bit.
And then we're back to the regular story where they're just Kaide and her best friend are discussing. They're watching the weather forecast, not the weather forecast,
the horoscopes.
The horoscope forecast
Horoscope.
On the TV, and then they're discussing. I wonder what Dino's sign is. They're like, we got no way of. Do you know what your birthday is, Dino? And he's like, oh no. So they're like, how do we find?
They didn't have calendars back when he was born, so yeah.
So they just decide they're going to give him a birthday, and why not today? And he's so happy at that. And then they're like, well, if it's his birthday, we should have a celebration. And he's even happier about that.
Like, Katie, you decide when his birthday is. Fuck it, today. And she's like, that means you're an Aries, and that means that you're going to have good luck. And your friend's just like, oh, well, if it's his birthday, we got to fucking throw a party. And she's like, oh, yeah, no, we'll throw a party. Dino, you wait here. And he's just practicing blowing out the candles, which is great.
And then all the friends from the previous part come round, and they've all brought in birthday presents and a cake.
Pretty much everyone's bought him ramen, but I mean...
Yep.
That's his favorite.
What he likes.
That's his favorite kind. It's hard to get. Thought of everything.
And Kai's brought him a hat that he loves.
Like a nightcap?
Yeah.
Mm.
And then he's going to eat the entire cake himself. And they have to stop him.
He's also terrified by all the candles because they put like the maximum amount of candles because he's probably millions of years old.
That's it, yes. They just found every
he's
candle.
Just looking at the fire going like, that's a lot of fire.
Vietnam flashback.
Yeah, I was like, is this trauma from when the meteor hit the Earth? Because I think there's been one other suggestion that he's had that traumatic flashback, I think, earlier in the series. that somehow he's the one dinosaur who survived the extinction of the dinosaurs. Um,
Well, him and all the birds, obviously.
yeah. Um, and then they have all their cake, and then we see they've all fallen asleep except for Dino, who's sitting in a chair with a drink in his hand, wearing
Yeah,
his
because they were saying it's
nightcap.
like he's so old, he's actually really mature. Is this not a very immature party? But no, he is handling it super mature. It's like, good job, kids, with the whiskey or whatever the fuck he's drinking.
Is in a nightcap, having a
Yes.
nightcap.
And it zooms in on his face, and then he puts on the biggest goofy grin you can imagine.
Suntory onegaishimasu.
And then we get another CG short, which this time is
Hashtag what day is it? Hashtag Dino Day.
that's it, yes. And he's blowing out the cake, the candles on the cake, but they're trick ones which relight. And then he can't stop thinking about it when he goes to bed. So he gets up in the middle of the night, relights the candles, and is absolutely delighted when they self-ignite again.
And we get like a time lapse to like that morning, and she's waking up. It's like, dude, fucking stop it! You've been at that all fucking night.
I was pretty annoyed, yeah. Ah, dear.
And in the second half, it's that story again, but different.
It's called Today's Horoscope, but it basically has the same plot, except the cartoon friends aren't in the real world, so she has to get different real friends, which I
Yes,
assume is like an idol group or something.
No, they're influencers.
Oh, my bad.
One's a TikTok star, and I think the other's a model. The one who
Which one was the one who was traumatized by the lack of eggs?
I think that's the model, because I think the TikTok star was the one who was doing most of the acting in it.
Yeah. I was wondering.
Right. But they brought all this food along, and hey, we're gonna dig in. Someone took all the hard-boiled eggs. What the fuck?
Well, initially it's just one hard-boiled egg missing, and they assume like someone sneaked someone else's hard-boiled egg. So
That's fine. We'll go over to
TikTok
this, go over to
star.
the pot. Yeah.
The TikTok star has decided to be Watson to dinosaurs' homes.
Yes.
Metante Dino.
Yeah, we'll just grab it up. And Katie's like, it's grand. There's loads of eggs in like the Odin thing. We'll just grab another one. All the eggs are gone. No hard-boiled eggs.
You're doing this. This is a real mystery. I mean, there's nobody else in the room. The door is locked. It's gotta be one of us four.
It's a
right?
locked room.
Nobody
mystery.
else here that we can see that could be
Except for
taking
that
the
white
eggs on
dude
our back
doing
this
the
turn.
Mission Impossible thing off the ceiling and stealing everyone's eggs.
Yeah, I didn't look up who he
gleams of
was, unfortunately, but because he didn't mention his name, the other two mentioned their names.
Yeah.
So I was able to figure it out. But yes, there is this dude who keeps on lowering himself down into the set, stealing the eggs, and at the end they catch him doing it, and there's a just right length comedic pause as they all stare at him. Stop, turn around, the lighting changes, they do a dance.
And I was just like, yeah, there's nowhere to take it from here. You're good. Just do the dance.
But the
now.
best
Yeah.
bit is when I was watching a second time is as he's being winched back up as the dance is about to start, he's waving goodbye to the audience.
Yeah.
The part of the 8 team was played tonight by Tom Cruise. It was me all along, folks. And now the Gallon Dino dancers.
Yeah, I love. I have to say, I love a set that is clearly just on a soundstage, and the lowering of the guy in made it look even more like being on a soundstage than it normally does.
Yeah, because some of the long shots, I was like, this place is very high ceilinged, and then they start lowering it from the ceiling, and I was like, oh, okay, it's all coming together, I guess.
We've gotten words as well, like lyrics for the opening credits song.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, we get that on Moriarty The Patriot as well.
Yes.
Oh, we got that last week. Yeah.
That was the same. Yeah. Nice to see. I thought there were like two different versions of the Gallon Dino ones this week, the lyrics, but maybe I'm fucking imagining it.
Well, the boy about being super hype and hey, take it easy, take it chill. We'll get there eventually. Don't worry about it. You know, much like how they arrived here in the modern day from earlier in the year.
Yeah.
And there's also lyrics about like getting drunk and bringing home a dinosaur. So it like the Moriarty the Patriot one, it is also about the plot of the series.
We're talking about this with with Marty when we did Claw on High onto the Madness, he was thinking, "What's this one? Like one of the few cartoons, that was made in the last decade or two that has like the plot of the thing."
The
And
plot
you're
as the
going to
song.
say,
Yeah.
I'll say a lot of anime do, but like
Yeah.
even things you've been watching, you're just watching not the right things. But yeah, it seems to be.
I suppose with the exception of ones
often.
that are like they're just promoting the latest big song by X Band, that kind of thing. I mean, like that's similar to Osomatsu. Obviously, it's a song about needs, that kind of thing.
Yeah, Kitaro was one big one, obviously.
Yeah, but you can't change the Kitaro, dude.
Yeah, but this as well, and even Moriarty the Patriot, like going to the lengths that it does, like it's definitely, unmistakably about crimes
Yes.
from the shadows.
And their willingness to sacrifice themselves for their cause.
Like you can't give the plot and
system.
also your end game in the fucking opening song. You can't
You
just
can.
fucking sing about that.
No, you can. I love when they do that because you remember the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film and Partners in Crime. That song, that song is the entire plot of the film.
Yeah.
Also the song for what's the Warren Beatty, where he's a politician, and that's got a rap song theme tune which raps the entire plot.
We need
and
more
also
raps of the
gives
entire
away
plots
the
of
twist.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, there's definitely lots of examples of those because I think the Beyond Yacht Rock podcast did a top 10 of plot rock. I think it was like plot rock. They might have done 2 ones, but it was song. It was the genre was plot rock, and it was songs which give away the entire plots of a movie.
They better be in the end credits and not in the opening. All right, okay.
But the problem is that they get in the charts, and then you know the plot.
Oh yeah. Fucking spoilers in the charts.
Exactly. Yeah, it was good seeing Gal and Dino back. Long may it rain.
It looked a little better. I thought that the kind of opening animated bits, they were trying a few more interesting things than it would normally do in there. Actually, put some good animation effects in here. So up their game in that regard. Time well spent.
Then we've got Gymnastics Samurai, Episode 7, Training Camp Samurai. I have to say, it felt like I had not missed an episode at all between 5 and 7.
Yeah, I mean, like it was basically like a thing about the daughter last one.
Yeah, I figured it was about missing the birthday.
Yeah, well, probably for being surprisingly cool about as she is, she's a bit of a latchkey kid. She's got a good head on her shoulders, better than most, but she's still as a child, and she can't hold up that facade forever. She was saying, "Hey, your mother was an actor, and she was also flipped on your dad because she was being like an idiot, but she held it together really well in front of you because she was a great actor. So naturally, can't be that way all the time."
But this opens with Leo doing some dance in front of the Men in Black.
That was the last shot of him. I forget the ballet pose you take at the start. It was post credit thing like last episode, and I was like, okay, what's this about? But then he does a full routine, and they're like, 1,000,000 words could not describe this beauty. Said the Men in Black.
It is pretty nice.
It is pretty nice. It's probably the nicest bit of animation in the show so far. To the point where you're like, would this be better if it was a dance anime, a gymnastics anime? And then they drag him back to
dance in the opening, I guess.
They drag him back to London, and then he begs to go back to Japan. He goes back to Japan. It was like quite a weird sequence.
Just the stern ballet director was just there. So you've run off on one of your little adventures again when they've come back. It's like, please let me go. Okay, but this is the last time.
Yeah, I mean, she mentions when I ran away from home, my mother flogged me on a tree upside down or something. I don't fucking know. And it's like, if you don't come back by winter, you'll get worse than being hung upside down from a tree, basically.
And then we cut back to Japan, where he's back dressed as a ninja, and Ray's dressed as Edward Scissorhands.
That really freaked me out. It was just the way her eyes, it was just the way her hair was done up. Her eyes seemed like they were super big.
I think it was a lot of makeup jobs, but yeah.
And a good kind of sharp cut to that. She's like, "Hey, okay, get the camera. We gotta do this."
We're playing Edward Scissorhands now. Let's go. You're the ninja. I'm Edward Scissorhands.
And then we get cut to the training camp, the cross-cultural training camp, where we get introduced to a whole bunch of new characters to be annoyed at our hero. And one guy who is not. I love the guy who's really enthusiastic about the camp.
Oh, like the head coach guy.
Yes. Yeah, the Chinese coach. He's wonderful.
Yeah.
I love him.
This is an exciting opportunity, not only to improve ourselves, but as a great cross-cultural exchange between our great nations. And it's like, I challenge you to a contest. Wow, this is really cool. And not like a thing an asshole would do. I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
He's just super positive. What a great influence on the Chinese team. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's got the counterpart with the other guy in the glasses from the Japanese team, who was also fairly upbeat, but not as upbeat as the Chinese guy.
His thing feels like it's a mask, though. He's like, he's all smiles, and he's just like, get serious, you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You know.
I must have just kind of a little bit of tension in the air. Oh, we got to show this Chinese team what we can do, and vice versa, because they're doing like all the routines with the weights on, and then fucking Jotaro's going around. Wow, isn't the same old gear? Oh man, I remember this fucking horse. Oh,
I
man,
can't believe they're the same
back.
old horse. Yeah. I was like, oh, this picture, and he's just being a goon, while the rest of them are like kind of intimidated by this entire situation. But yeah, our headband fucking kid decides to challenge the best fucking gymnast in the world. Or is he just the best one in China? I think he's one of the best in the world, at least. Anyway.
Yeah.
He's just like, I challenge you right fucking now. I've come here to defeat you, and no making friends or any of this fucking shit. And they're just like, yeah, cool, they do that. He does a really good job. Your man does a much better job. And then our hero kind of goes like, can I have a go? And he does his signature move and then stops and starts congratulating himself because he's really excited. Because the coach said, it's like, you can do it again. Your shoulder's all healed up.
The ban is lifted. Yeah.
The ban's lifted, and everyone's kind of looking at him as like, you're just gonna do like the one thing. You weren't actually competing. He's like, no, I just wanted to do it because I couldn't do it earlier.
And then my favourite bit where Leo's chasing Yolande headband guy around as he's going jogging, and he annoys him so much the pair of them get lost.
He's got the Zorro thing of being super serious and therefore having no sense of direction.
Yeah. But it's the bit that it's like the very like the bits where it's just the stills of them trying to find their way home.
Like, where the fuck are we now?
they look at the map, stills of them going various places, and then it's back to them at the same map.
Yeah.
Let's try that again one more time. Okay, we are here. The sun is setting. Well, the sun is definitely setting now. If I get a better idea of where west is, we can just base it off that.
I like he's ranting at the guy as well, where he's kind of like, hey, you're running off on your own. Mind if I run with you too? Is this part of your training? Is not talking part of your training? How does that not talking help with gymnastics? And it's just like it's just chasing this fucking dude into the woods.
Yeah. Like the rest of the gymnast team are kind of wondering what kind of like cliche hardball sporting character is Minamino? Is he the type of dude who after one loss he just breaks and he doesn't know he's in direction entirely? But actually, the fun saying no, fucking seeing that guy best me, it got to me. I'll admit, but especially when I fucking get back at him even more. That's my gymnastics. It's about winning. So it's a bit more durable of a mindset than you would think from this sort of guy who's been kind of naturally good at this, and for a lot of his life because he's only still young and he gets his first like someone actually kind of dunking on him.
Knocks him down a peg, but it just emboldens him. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's still like aggressive and kind of mean about it. So, but you gotta give it to him. He's gonna get back on the ring. He's gonna get back on the bars and try to take it to him.
But that seems to make Leo think about his dance career as well.
Yeah, you feel like there's probably that philosophy of Jotaro's is probably more he cleaves, so he's doing it out of his love and his passion for it, and that's what Jotaro he's kind of attitude as well. He's like, I'm here just like for myself to try and be the best I can be. If I compete, great. And they talk about this like detachment from it. Well, not detachment, but he's not so caught up in like the intensity of the competition of it, and that kind of. It's a bit more freer, a bit looser. So, the kind of easy breezy attitude, I suppose, is rubbing the other team players the wrong way, maybe.
Because we get like the last day of it, where all the press are invited. There's a big dinner at the end as well, and I've forgotten the head Chinese guy. He's the best
Liu Liang Jiang.
Yeah. He he's still training. He's not having the big slap up meal with everyone else. And Jotaro's goes like, "Wow, you're still fucking at it." And he's like, "Dude, why the fuck are you here?" Right? Because this is supposed to be for the up and coming guys. I still got a few of my prime fucking years left in me, but eventually they'll fucking surpass me. That kid earlier that I beat at the start of this, probably going to surpass me. Like, just because he's really talented and he's just coming into his own, and I'll eventually be too fucking old and put out the pasture. You should be out of pasture. What are you doing here? And he's like, "Well, I think I can do better." And he's kind of like trying to lay it out, and he doesn't lay it out in so much words, but like you said, Gnarly, he's basically kind of competing with himself. He thinks he hasn't hit his peak yet.
Yeah. I mean, you said, you know, I busted my shoulder. I wouldn't be able to do my signature move ever again. But I fucking took a step back and worked on it. And lo and behold, I just did it yesterday. So, I mean, it might take me longer in order to do it, but no, I want to see what I can do, you know, rather than saying what I can't do based on my age or what kind of level of fitness or what part of my career or who am I competing with. I'm going to see if I can do it before I just rule out the ability to do so at all.
He seems to be kind of like, besides enjoying a genuine love for what he does, he's kind of measuring himself off his own yardstick. He's trying to beat his own best, not to beat everyone else and be the best, better than everyone else. He's just like, I just want to be better than the me that I was, that kind of thing.
It's like, ha 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 ha, that's hysterical. You're a crazy guy, Aragaki. But you might be able to pull off that signature move of yours yesterday, but that wouldn't beat me in a competition. I wouldn't even beat Minamino, the bandana prince, in a competition. So take that and smoke it, why don't you?
And
That's a lot we gotta do, Coach.
We also meet Kitty.
Well, we do, yes.
She was kind of hanging in the background, like, it's that guy. It's his kid. Oh, I'm actually a huge fan.
Yeah.
It was fine. There was nothing threatening about her.
No.
She's okay.
Yeah. Is she a gymnast as well? I see there's a bunch of
I think
women
so, because she's
here.
on the Chinese team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we don't see the women doing anything.
We only see the men's gymnastics, but there are the women there, obviously.
Yes.
On both teams, I assume. Maybe it was just the men's team that were competing against each other. So I don't recall seeing a Japanese women's team.
They're there at the dinner. I was just going through.
Okay,
there are some on both sides at the dinner, which seems to just be a buffet. But yes, I don't know. She's very she's the most anime character design of anybody in the show.
She has very unique hair.
Yes. So again, I don't know what role she's playing going forward, but yeah.
I don't know.
Fan of the daughter.
Maybe Ray's best friend. It was a couple of years as well. It's just like Ray's only kind of really known maybe some of her dad's gymnastics friends, maybe because she gets pulled around maybe to a lot of meets, so doesn't all get left home by herself a lot. And she makes people school. He was actually a friend you can, who probably knows where you're coming from like this. Remains to be seen whether she's actually like a near nature or just like a gymnast star, tend to be smaller in stature even as adults. So just going to make that assumption.
I figure she's older because I mean, like, she's probably like on the younger side for the team, but I figure she's older. But the fact that she's a fan of her mom's movies as well is that they got that connection. They both love the movies and action movies, I assume. Someone to have the same similar interest, but I guess yeah.
Then moving on, it's time for Niall to tell us about Healing Good Pretty Cure, episode 33, Memorable Reunion, My Gift from the Past.
Or Dr. Hashisuka, who treated Nodoka in the past, he's passing through town on a trip. Now remember, based on what we've learned over the course of the series, this doctor effectively did nothing to help because it was a magical disease that she had.
He was cured by magic.
Though, he doesn't know about that bit, but something inside himself, he does know that he didn't come through for her as a medical professional because he even worked. He couldn't identify what was up with her, and that's what really ate at him all the time. And then suddenly she just got better one day, and I thought, I failed you as a doctor, so I'm not really on holiday. I'm more like, I'm kind of between jobs. I'm actually changing jobs right now. I'm going to be a researcher instead of a doctor because this fella's a tired change. I felt like I couldn't do it. Why my duty then? He says, well, the Norgans be like, no, it's not your fault. No, it's totally. Back in 1 minute. She goes upstairs having like a dinner, having like this over dinner at the inn that Chiyo's family runs. Goes upstairs and Chiyo was just, hey lads, floating animal, like magical animal people. is it cool if I tell the doctor that I was infected by like evil germs and that's why I got sick? Because he feels super bad about not being able to help me, and I feel bad that he feels bad. So can we do it or not? I said, no, Jesus, that's completely against protocol. I can't do that. Anyways, they go off for a nice little evening walk, and doctor's just kind of laying it out. It's like, no, see you there in the bed and I'm trying my fucking best. I felt like, no, I was letting you down. Then you wrote me a little letter. Remember that? Yeah, I wrote you a little letter. I was sitting there in my bed. It's just like, and you were saying this there, I was doing it to not to give up. Even though you're trying to best just you being there will help me give the strength and motivation, the will to try and fight through this thing. Like must be like, oh, she's such a little trooper. I gotta help her as best I can. But that encouraged him again because it felt like she just got better when she got out that day, but she was glad to support that. But maybe if I became a medical researcher instead, because there's lots of things I can do with my medical degree, maybe I can do better next time, or let somebody else do better, be able to identify what these illnesses are before time. Because we can't all be Dr. House, MD, and get to the bottom of the illness straight away. Some things will get away from you. Sometimes you lose a patient. He was thinking, oh, maybe it's something I can do. And then Nolika doesn't feel as crap then because, oh, well, maybe I didn't break his faith in medical science. It seems to be okay. I mean, it probably is good to trying to balance it between
magical medicine.
Magical medicine, seems to kind of, this. It's kind of, well, maybe it's just, they weren't to know there's going to be a viral pandemic this year. This is more of a coincidence, more so than anything else. It's one of this. But just timing of it and the kind of thematic decision of it, it does feel like, that's all well and good, to have, lots of people by your bedside, like encouraging you to help fight off the illness. But the kind of saying as well is just like sometimes, doctors can't save you. You just gotta have faith. It's just like, but there are people, doctors, nurses, other medical professionals who are working and putting their fucking lives at risk, as we certainly this year, to try and help and cure people. Let's give them a short shift. But again, they're not to know what was going to happen this year. Maybe they could adjust the script slightly. But they're trying their best to kind of come at it more from that holistic capacity, or the support and encouragement of it is more like kind of rehabilitation than anything else.
Right.
People who kind of support you to help you get through a traumatic event rather than maybe actual thing they do in a medical or other capacity to get you through that. Because why does it matter? Magical germs.
Yeah. A lot of recovery is on mindset as well. I get what they're trying to say with that, but if that's the entire like where you're going to cure someone, it's like, nah, you need medicine as well.
Well, anyway, the doctor can barely even leave town. He can do the rest of his trip when he gets attacked by Tarizan, who has been pressurized by King Byogen. He didn't want to take the parts and evolve to the next form of it. It's like, I don't know, I don't want to do it. Hey, fucking do it. I'm the boss and the king of you. You do it. It's just like, okay, but I'll do it. It's not because you told me to, though. And now he's all souped up. And he turns the doctor into a monster man. He's stomping around, so the girl's got to sort that out. And it's a kind of clash of wills then. It's a pretty good monster actually, because it's him. He's kind of huge hulking thing with the kind of medical gown on. He's walking around with his hands like that, like he's preferring to go into the ORs.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Stomp.
Like a hands up Frankenstein. Okay.
And he's shooting the beam out of the little it's like a little reflector light.
The little mirror on the head.
It's a kind of clash of wills. Then it's just like, I made this. I evolved for my own sake. What can you do? Like, what's about supporting people? But, that doctor didn't do shit for me, but he still stood by my side, and my friends and my family were doing it as well. So, you wouldn't know that, you big fucking loner. It's like, hey, don't call me that. I'll punch you. I got some pretty class fight animation as well. It's a bit of a set piece. I guess there's it's much more emotional because you got the doctor who saved me involved in it. So because I get some quick kind of stunts going on in there, it's pretty all right. To finish him off, and he seems to be like definitely like the one that's probably going to rebel the soonest out of all. because you got to have like the bad guys, or at least one of the bad guys, flip apart through the series. This guy's mid-season power-up. He seems to be like ambivalent about it, the most ambivalent about the way to go about this. Definitely wants to affect the world, but he doesn't feel like maybe what the king Bjorgen has in mind is what he wants to do for himself. I don't know. But if it leads to more kind of good punch-ups with him and cure grace down the line, I'm all for it because those are the best parts. It's really been good now that they have the different type of giant monster involved. It's been a lot more. It's been a lot more slick in the set pieces the last couple of whiles. So I hope they keep up that rate. It's good stuff. Next week, arrival for the high jump. If someone comes along and tells you your high jump ain't shit, you have to fucking pretend you're a poser. I'm a real high jumpist. High jumpist? I don't know. We'll see how that gets on.
Well,
Cool.
I was just curious as you were describing all these things. I was like, oh, of course, I'd never connected it to X-Aid, but there appears to be only one piece of Healing Good Precure and Kamen Rider X-Aid crossover art on Pixiv. I was surprised that. Well, I wasn't surprised that there was one, but I was surprised there wasn't more. But maybe the
that's what I was surprised by as well. I was just like, surely that's an obvious fucking crossover.
Yeah, I think maybe like the 5-year gap or 4-year gap or whatever it's been might be a little too
might be a
much to keep
timing
it fresh in people's minds.
Yeah, I mean they rattle these out so consistently and quickly. You know, it's one gets swallowed up by the other. So swiftly.
Then finally, we've got Moriarty the Patriot, episode 7, the Noetic Act. Sorry, the Noetic Act 2, not the Noetic Act 2. It's Act 2 of the Noetic.
I thought I'd watched the wrong episode initially on this because it opens the same way, and I was like, fuck, I put on the wrong episode, and I stopped it part of it.
Nope, just catching you up.
And because that ties into like the shot they used towards the end as well, and I was like, okay, no, I get why they did it again. I thought they were just reusing animation, considering it was like, oh, here's what happened the last time, and he was found after having murdered this dude, caught in the act.
Yes, so Count Blitz Enders.
The worst dude.
I'm sure we'll come across worse guys. I mean, the guy he killed was no fucking nice dude either.
No. Well, just as well, they're setting out their stall for what their plan is going to be for how to go to stage all of these murders. What's the worst dude we can find at short notice? Probably this fella.
Yeah.
So yeah, this guy is he likes to hunt humans on his estate, and they've caught him doing it on this boat, and Moriarty helps him get rid of the body.
Man's like, he tried to kill me. He's like, really? I don't see any signs of a struggle. But you don't believe me? I was like, of course I believe you. You are a lord and noble like myself, and I believe everything you say. Let me help you dispose of this body because someone else mightn't believe you, you know. We'll throw it out the side of the fucking boat. Like, this is the perfect place to dispose of a body, really, because it'll just like fucking float away and shit.
Oh no!
Whoops! I've bumped into you slightly. Never mind about that. And sorry, just a very fat dude we just threw into the ocean. And you see the boys pulling in a net. It's just like,
this will come in handy later.
Dear. I was wondering what the deal was with the other, the actual blood Moriarty brother, Albert, talking to that dude who's really into ballet. It was like, why are we talking to this dude? What does this have to do with anything? But I do like the way it ties it into later of setting the scene. We need him as a player on the stage, that kind of way.
Yeah, so they're at the ballet.
And Blitz is in your man's box, but for the second act he's going to sit down with the cheap seats so he can be right up there for the thing. He's just like, I said I'd try it out. I know I got to sit with the commoners, but I mean, like, I'm going to be right in the action. So, and I was just like, oh, that's nice.
And Mario's, are you sure you properly killed that guy last night? And he's like, what? Well, take a look through these opera glasses.
These absolutely not modified in any way opera glasses.
Which would make more sense given that in the comic apparently it was an opera and not a ballet. But
yeah.
Yeah, apparently I was the people who've read the comic were like, there's a lot of changes in this one as well. I was like, oh, I guess even if I don't read the comic, I'm still gonna not be able to avoid people pointing out the changes in the comic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he sees the guy and so, well, oh, that guy's there. I'll go chase
There he
after
is.
him. And then, oh, hang on, now I found his body again.
With the knife still in it.
Yes.
Motherfucker! And he just kind of kicks him. It's like, fucking, I'm going to make sure you're dead this time. This is bullshit. And he just stabby. And it's like, the chicken is in the coop.
Fingers in the poke.
And it's just like, well, fucking put him on the stage. And he's just like, die, you motherfucker, die. And everyone sees. And I love the glinting of all the eyes. I thought that was a really nice
The
visual.
eyes are really good. They've been really like messing with that now for the last few episodes. Because it isn't just like the William Moriarty's like, oh yes, I have the scarlet eyes of the criminal mastermind, but everyone does, and they're like that's.
But it's not everyone's eyes in this are red. Like you have like the blues and the greens and browns and everything, and they're all shining differently because it's like them noticing the truth or something. It's like a visualization of that. Them being aware and cognizant of the truth. Yeah.
There's also the eyes of an animal knife when they give
absolutely
reflective of it. It's just they're all the hounds that are coming to hunt him because now the hunter will face the hunt.
And he tries to turn around. Is like, it's not what you think, and it's like, Albert's fucking thinking of like from his box. Isn't that Count Blitzer? Very loudly and now loudly announcing it. And he's like, no, I'm a noble. I'm allowed to kill people, right? Isn't that right? Noble guy in the front row. And he's like, no,
I don't know you.
No, I sit with the commoners and watch fucking opera. I mean ballet, and we're cool. You're like a weird sicko noble, not like me. And I was just like, oh, I love the way the pieces fall into place. And he tries to turn it around. And it's like, not winning the audience over, bud. All right, I'm going to go stab you, Count.
Obviously, went mad after his college burned down, his coal mines were sold off. Happens every day.
So he tries to stab that other noble, but he gets, I'm going to call it Sanji kicked by that mysterious haired stranger. Because he does like a flip and like a capoeira kind of thing. It was like,
what's the martial art that
came up as well?
I'm sure there is. What does Sherlock Holmes know?
Stick. Yeah.
Because he's been in France, as he makes sure to tell us later on in the episode.
He's the kind of person who would fucking tell you, like Yami, that he has been to France. My brain's like Krav Maga, and it's like Krav Maga doesn't use a cane.
No, I know. Savate, yeah.
Thank you. Couldn't think of it.
Yes, we should know because that's his kicks as well.
Yes,
because that's what Batroc Zilliper knows.
He comes and kicks him. The lights kind of come up, and I assume not guards, but the staff of the security in the ship are chasing him through, and it kind of it kind of cuts between him chasing the dude he's chased, and he's been the one being chased, and the hounds are the guys, and I'm like, I like this. This is all good.
We chase him up a pole,
like a cat. He's like, I'm gonna look down on you until you die, and it's like, how long do you think you can stay up in that pole?
You'll never catch me now.
It's a terrible plan. But I think your man's gun is more like a pellet gun that sort of like hits you really hard because it doesn't.
An air rifle. It's like in the Sherlock Holmes books, Colonel Moore. He's got a shoot out rifle, which it is like an air compressed rifle, which can shoot different kinds of ammunition. So I guess it can shoot like a
little pellet.
This little pellet does kind of look at this like him in the hand, he'll lose his grip and he'll just be caught in it. fly off the master was doing.
Apparently this is a change from the comic as well. In the comic, I read that he just throws himself off the ship to avoid having to go to prison. He doesn't have to be encouraged.
I didn't mind this as a change.
It's had a sweet shot where he's now he's being plunged into the icy depths. He's who's that on the foredeck? It's more young Moriarty. It's just like
the little grin that fucking appears, and I didn't mind it because it's a changing of the stage of the ballet. It becomes like the stage on the ship because everyone's on deck like watching this fucking lunatic climb up a pole to try and get away. It fits the kind of the theme of the staging of this crime to make it a big obvious crime.
But my thing is, it's a little bit. It's the same thing they did in the last one. of
Yeah,
Moran
yeah.
shooting somebody
Like
to
if it
make
was
him
a little more
fall.
distance between it or something, you might be better off. But yeah, it's probably too close timing wise.
Yeah, it just makes me wonder if every single arc's going to involve them having changed it so Moran shooting somebody off something.
Yeah. Also,
Hopefully not.
was that Fred disguised as a dead burglar in the crowd? Because we see Fred kind of shifting off something off his face and then
I
Well, he
assume
he
so.
dresses as a woman in the prior one, so I'm guessing he's going to be also master of disguise. Yeah,
It's even more like this is like Mission Impossible caliber masks
yeah.
putting on there.
I assume like the opera glasses were kind of fixed as well, that kind of way.
I will say it's
Um,
not the most ridiculous disguise I've seen this week because I've been playing Yakuza 7 and that has a very ridiculous disguise show up in that. But yeah, so this was much more believable than what happens in that game. So I wasn't too bad with the disguise element. They all get home and they're like, well, that went very well. And then Moriarty's like, well, we might have a slight problem because as
Because
I
even
was
your man's
getting
like,
off.
"What's the word on the street?" And everyone's like, "Oh yeah, everyone's fucking talking about it. It'd be weird if people weren't talking about it." So yeah, there's a lot of like, it's come out that he was hunting people. They're gonna research. They're gonna look at that place. They're gonna dig up the bodies. So that's gonna
Yeah,
prove it.
we're
It's
going to
all going to plan,
use.
except for
I
I
did
had
have
a
a
bit of a conversation.
conversation with the fellas of getting off the boat.
This
So we're gonna.
motherfucker.
I'm gonna have to research into him now. We only had a little conversation. He's like, "Hey, buddy, I wanted someone to talk about all the cool show on the ship." And he's like, "Oh, you mean the ballet?" It's like, "No, I mean the fucking cool murder." Because
Yes.
that body was dead for hours. I checked. Rigor mortis has already set in, but your man said he killed him, so he was absolutely certain he killed this guy. But he must have done it hours earlier and be thought to kill him in that moment. Isn't that weird? That's interesting. I think I'm gonna fucking look
Yes.
into that.
So
And
somebody must have set this up.
there must be a
Hmm.
third party on board. And I like the fact that he makes the point as to make the point of like, oh, you're the one intelligent person on this ship I can have this conversation with, which is very
Yeah.
loaded, as if to say you're the one intelligent person on this ship who could have
Who could
carried
have
this
done
plot
this.
out.
Now, say the line, Holmes. Once you've eliminated the impossible, whatever it means, whatever improbable must be the truth.
I was fine with that, and I was also fine with
Yeah.
like, oh, by the way, sir, I didn't catch your name. It's like the name's Holmes, Sherlock Holmes. Dun, 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 dun. And I was just like, no, I'm fine with him doing the fucking line. I'm fine with him doing the cool introduction, then forgetting to fucking ask, wait, what was your name again, mathematician guy? Because obviously, yeah. I did like the fact it kept cutting back to the lads at the cart going like, stop talking to that guy. Come on, we gotta go. We did a big crime.
It's supposed to be the smart one on his outfit.
But he can't help talking to a big brain as well.
Yeah.
Also, he
I
wants to get
like.
this guy's name so he can look into who the fuck
Yes.
this guy is.
I liked the way Sherlock Holmes was written here because I was like, oh, I can
Yes.
easily imagine the Jeremy Brett performance of Sherlock Holmes doing these lines, so to speak. So it was, yeah, it was. He's obviously played younger than Holmes normally is, but it's got that same sort of cocky arrogance
Yeah.
and the joy of being a detective, the joy of solving
Like,
a mystery.
yeah, he's super excited and openly laughs. It's like, I don't have a fucking clue how they did this, but I'm really excited to find out. It's
Yeah.
just like it's like it's not like, damn, they got me. It's more so, ooh, this is fun.
There was just also just been like from last week this fun nerd versus jock thing going on there because he's swanning around, he's doing capoeira, he's like having bets with ladies and hanging out with them all night. You know, he's been drinking and fucking doing lines of cocaine
Like
and
he's
everything like
smoking
that.
a cigarette in this end scene, so he's just the coolest fucking guy. Yeah.
And then he's also a super like genius detective. You know, he's been doing forensics because in France, and it's like, no, yes, you're a bit of a brain, so just like fancy boy, college professor, lecturer, you know. But you're still good at it.
I know I know it's doing a lot of stuff different from the comics, but I'm still thoroughly enjoying the show. I don't mind them like changing things to, for whatever reason they changed it from an opera to a ballet. Maybe it was a set piece thing. I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, it changed it. It's like the ballet is a version of Giselle, which I think was like a version that I think was the first one before on an ocean going lion and as well. And there's I think at the end of the first act, it involves like a woman who falls in love with like a nobleman, but their love is not to be, and she has a heartbreak. But then the nobleman is like pursued by the phantoms of those he's wronged, something like that. So it feeds
Yeah, yeah,
thematically to the dude that we're trying to set up. He's being chased by
yeah,
phantoms.
yeah.
He's hunted and killed.
They did the right thing, and like they were thinking about what they were doing for it. Like they had one of the posters, I guess, advertising it was like reminiscent of like a Degas painting of his ballet dancers. And I was like, yeah, that'd be around the fucking same time as well. So I was just like, no, they knew what they were doing. They replaced it with an
Yeah,
appropriate
I think
thing.
a lot of the changes they make are more making things more historically
Like changing your
accurate.
man's rifle.
Yeah, I think even the name of the Lord is changed to something more appropriate in that arc as
Right,
well.
right. Because he has like a somewhat Germanic name, which wouldn't be that unusual for a
Yeah,
British novel. Yeah.
yeah. I think he's got a really dumb name in the comic. Uh,
Okay.
I think it might just be like Count Dublin or something. And so I think they've picked
Okay.
somebody like one of the British politicians who was involved in Ireland and used that name for
Oh,
him.
okay. They've actually used like I presume like a name from around the same
Yeah,
time, like 1800s kind of thing. Yeah,
yeah.
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 Mm.
So I think there's there's bits which they're trying to make it more realistic.
Mm, mm.
And obviously there's bits they're cutting out just for time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, the comic will be probably more better overall because, like you said, you can go into more depth with things. You
Yeah,
can have asides and stuff. This is like we got to fit it within like the slot of time that you have for an episode or 2 episodes if you manage it. But
yeah,
so it's going to suffer a
yeah.
little bit.
My worry is they lose a bit more of like the denouements of the stories and the ironic justice they bring to the people
I mean,
as
like they're
well.
very much so in this show about doing the kind of the pomp of it's like, yes, we'll put you on stage on the show.
Yes.
That's the thing they really want to get to in this episode. So it's the thing they spend most of the time setting up.
Yeah, I think what I'd say I've not read the comic, so it really worked well in this one.
Mm,
So,
mm.
and then next time we get somehow, I guess they're wedging in the Moriarty brothers into Arthur Conan Doyle's A Study in Scarlet.
See, it's called A Study in S, so I wonder if it or it wasn't called A Study in S. It was something in S. They changed the title to. So I was
Yeah,
like, is that going to
I
make
think it's A
them
Study
like,
in
oh,
S. They call it. Yeah,
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So I was wondering, is like this is Plan S. So this is them, like their point of view on the Sherlock Holmes thing that they were somehow involved in some regard. And I was like, that could be cool, if done
Well,
right. I'll see how they do it though.
like when Moriarty was introduced as a character, I think they retroactively Conan
Yeah,
Doyle
yeah.
would have had to have tied him into all the pieces because usually only come in because he wanted a way to kill off Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
So he gave him his arch nemesis who would be the one to do him in.
Mm.
I think this then the guys think, oh yeah, he's been one behind all our crimes that we saw in the previous books. Of course, we gotta take him out now.
Yeah, but if this is more so from the Moriarty perspective rather than from the Holmes one, yeah, yeah.
yeah, which means we should get Watson next week.
Yeah, you do. You get Mrs. Hudson. You get the.
I
whole
saw
gang.
her in the preview thing, but I was like, Watson needs a mustache, man. But they're not pretty if they have a mustache, I guess.
Yeah, I remember. Remember, it's also influenced by the BBC most recent Sherlock as well.
Yeah, well, he had a mustache in one of the later seasons, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
You probably won't be the suave lady killer. You'll be like, I say Holmes a clue. He seems to be more
The
that
bumbling
version, I think.
the bumbling Watson. Yeah, I think there was a Kate Beaton comic on that where it was like Bumbling Watson, who was like a cute dog that you give a biscuit to, and there was the suave, sexy lady killer fucking Watson,
Jude
and
Law.
he had two Watsons, and like the stupid Watson and the sexy Watson, just competing with each other. Good stuff.
Yeah. Apparently, they skipped a chapter which introduced Mycroft Holmes.
Oh,
So
okay.
I guess
They introduced Mycroft before Sherlock. That's
apparently
cool.
so. Yes.
All right. That could happen.
I'm.
But I go to a lot of the same clubs.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, an enjoyable. Again, it's another solid series. I think most things we're watching, even if you don't like Mr. Osomatsu's writing anymore, it's still a solidly, consistently
It's still
produced
fine. It's just,
series.
No, like I said, that middle section of this week's one was really good. It just wasn't funny, but that doesn't appear to be what they're going for.
No.
And I'm just like, I
Well.
came here because of the humor that I know you're
I
capable
will
of.
say the episode which I watched instead of the right one is just all jokes. So.
Well, I'll watch that one and probably make it up for me. Yeah, yeah.
It is all gag stuff.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that next week.
I think it's fine to do the drama, but it's just a sort of middling. I think I'm fine for dramatic developments in the rest of the slate, and then I can do some jokes about it as that. It's just, but you aren't delivering. So I feel ambivalent about it as a result.
Righty ho! Anything coming up on the Secret of the Sailor Madness?
We have at the Britpop episode number 2 with our pal Jake DeBurka with Simpsons King of the Hill and Bob's Burgers, getting some early editions out for those. Toyed with the idea of maybe doing a Drawn and Alive with the Bill and Ted franchise. But I think too many folks want in on that. It'll be a bigger undertaking. So I think I might put it on the line. I might do a different Drawn or Alive, which I have not decided yet. Because just try to find that one thing in the middle that we'll have before we do the inevitable Christmas edition of Secret of the Sailor Madness. I'm trying to fill in those banks. But you'll hear about it first, or maybe not. You'll hear about it here at some point about what we might have on in the pipeline.
We'll get it.
I just recorded for Dynamite in the Brain an episode on Laputa Castle in the Sky with Aaron Long and Leon Everett. So that'll be coming up in the few weeks once I edit it down and try and make myself not so loud in the recording.
Get some good Miyazaki fucking Pippi Longstocking fan fiction.
Pippi Longstocking?
Yeah, the old woman's Pippi Longstocking.
Well, that's not what I read. I read that it's his mother.
I mean, it could be both.
It's Miyazaki's
Is
mother.
The mother of Pippi Longstocking? Wow.
Yeah, I thought that was it. She was a badass sky pirate and shit. I feel like
she is a badass sky pirate, but we never made a Pippi Longstocking connection.
Okay, fair enough.
But I can see it, but I'm not super familiar with it. We talk about plenty of things which aren't Pippi Longstocking about that movie. And we also play 2 games.
Ooh.
Double games. All about the movies in 1986 and all about animated pirate movies. Shocking discoveries about what animated movies had the best box office in 1986.
Oh boy.
I'm not going to look that up. I'm going to listen to the episode first because that sounds.
Because you like it doesn't mean it was successful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There was one which was quite. Not only because we like it, because the internet won't stop talking about one, and then turns out that did not do as well as other ones which people have stopped talking about. But
the Transformers movie has got some moments, all right.
Yeah, that's the movie. That's the movie. If you guess, Niall, that is the one in question. Right. What day next week? Wednesday next week, Niall? Is it Wednesday next week?
Oh, actually, let me think.
Let
me see here. Because I think it'll be better if we do this. Yes, the day of the Advent, December 1st, on a Tuesday, because I'm off that night because I had to take off the remainder of my days off for the year because you can't carry them over. Extenuating circumstances.
They do go off if you leave them in the fridge too long, yeah.
So I thought, fuck it, I'll use those and I'll dodge a few night shifts. I'll try and spare my body any torment. And also it means you get your recording of Let's Go a whole day sooner. You're listening and viewing audience. Isn't that great?
Yeah, so we'll be back here next Tuesday with more Let's Go. Goodbye.
Bye.
Good evening.
Okay, right, let me end this stream.